Welcome back to our free training on Logos Bible software. In this session, we're going to be looking at the search feature. Now, I know a lot of people like to Google when they're looking for Bible verses, but I'm going to show you some powerful search features in Logos in this free software that's going to help you with searching your Bible. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in and look at the search feature. Now, let me ask you a question. When you go to look up a Bible verse, what do you usually do? Most of us usually go and Google it. We go to Google, and sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. We don't quite get the phrasing right. I want to change the way you search your Bible. And I want to take you to Logos in the search feature and just show you how powerful that is. Let me start with a power user tip. So if you click here on search, you will only see that half the screen appears with the search dialog box. Let's close that out and let's slide it all the way over until the full screen turns gray. And now you'll have a big old screen with your search feature on it. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these because I think for this particular level of engagement with Logos, you just want to go with the Bible tab. So click on Bible here. You're able to select your Bible. I usually go with ESV. It's one of my favorites. And there are different options here that you could go through, but we're just going to stick with Bible, all Bible text, verse. And then you can also go just New Testament if you know it's in the New Testament, but we're going to go entire Bible for this particular search, or all passages. And I'm going to look up grace. Let's say you want to do a word study on the word grace. I'm going to just type in grace. Now, don't go topic, go with the word itself because we're looking for the word grace in the Bible. And what you see here is that grace appears 131 times in 122 verses, and 6 of those times it appears in the Old Testament, which means 125 times is New Testament saying grace over and over again, which is why many people call the New Testament the Testament of grace. So anytime you want to do a topical study or a word study, you can dive right into your Logos Bible software, type the word here. Again, don't search the topic, just the word itself, and then you'll be able to return your results. Let's say, oh, I have a favorite verse. I can't remember where it is. And you say, I know it says, I know the plans. And you can type enter. And guess what? Got it. Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Let's say you know that exact phrase. One of the things you can do in here in Logos is put it in parentheses. And then when you hit enter now, it's going to go exact phrase on you. So if you know the exact phrase that you're looking for, make sure you put that phrase in parentheses. Do this in the New Testament. Let's say you say, oh, I know a text that talks about Jesus being full of truth and grace. So you can just say full of truth and grace. And it's going to return John 1:14. Where the word became flesh and dwelt among us, and he's the only son from the Father, full of truth and grace. Now I want to get to these search templates because Logos has an amazing feature where they have templates where you can search certain things. So let's say you're looking for 2 people who are mentioned together in the text. You can go down here to 2 people mentioned together, click on it, and then it's going to show you the 2 people. So if you want to say, I remember a session where Jesus is talking to Zacchaeus. Now, here's what I need to remind you. When you type in the person's name, you have to find the entry here. Now, all of this is different aspects of Jesus's life, but you're looking for Jesus, the man or the God man. Click on it. And then Zacchaeus. Now, if you don't know how to spell Zacchaeus, it's okay. Because guess what? It's going to help you. Just start spelling it, and shows you this is Zacchaeus, the tax collector we're looking for. We click on search and look at what happens. Boom. We find out that this passage is in Luke's gospel, Luke chapter 19. If you click on it, it shows up here, and then it continues to keep highlighted every time it refers to Jesus and Zacchaeus. And the beauty of it all is that it not only refers to him by name, which is what Google searches will do, but it also refers to him and his pronouns here that he uses. So he hurried, received him joyfully. This is Zacchaeus. So it takes all the third person references to Zacchaeus that might not be his name specifically and still uses those. Great power user tool that you don't get in Google. So I want to make sure you knew that. What if you say, you know what? I'm trying to find Elijah and Moses. Are they ever mentioned together? So I go Elijah. This is the prophet, a lot of Elijahs. So make sure you get the prophet, Elijah, and then Moses, the person, and then click on search. And they are mentioned together. And look, they're mentioned together in the New Testament, 2 places in the Gospels, on the Mount of Transfiguration. Interesting passage for you to do a study on to see why these 2 Old Testament figures show up in the New Testament. And this is the only place they show up. You can look at that text in Matthew and then also in Luke. Both are called quote unquote parallel accounts. You can look at both of those. Let's say you want to look up a person and a place. So you're like, I remember that Jesus is mentioned alongside this place called Caesarea Philippi. Again, you don't have to spell the whole thing. It'll pop up for you. And then you can click on search and boom, he's mentioned in 2 different Gospels, being there in Caesarea Philippi. When it pops up again, it keeps highlighted Jesus and Caesarea Philippi being mentioned together in the text. And you can read this account. We're going to talk about this in our next session in the fact book, but it's an interesting location that Jesus is mentioned alongside. What about Paul? Paul traveled a lot. He traveled a whole lot, and him being mentioned alongside different places is going to be helpful for you. So click Paul, and then we're going to go with Corinth for this particular session, and then click on Corinth. And then boom, Paul shows up in Corinth, obviously in 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, but also in Acts. He's traveling around, and this is when he comes to the city of Corinth. So you want to click on that and read about Paul in Corinth before you go read the book of 1 and 2 Corinthians, because it shows some context around what he did there before he wrote the letter to the Corinthian church. All right, let's do one more thing. I want to talk about this after that. So this is one of my favorite ones. So if you click this after that, let's say I want to talk about Esau. And I remember it talking about him being red, but it appeared after the word red. So I'm going to go Esau, red, search, and there you have it. Talks about, Isaac and Rebekah's son Esau, who came out red. His name literally means red dude. And so if you have words that are together or words that, one appears before one or after one, you can use this robust search feature to be able to do that. And let's say you have words all types of mixed up and you say, all things can do. I think there's a verse around that says something like that. Even if you don't have all the words together, look, I can do all things through him that strengthens me. And then you can click on this fuzzy search. And that's the one that returns top because it's telling you this is probably what you're looking for. So if you don't have all the words together, go ahead and try that type of search feature. Powerful feature here in Logos. I want you to take advantage of it. Stop Googling, use these search features, and it will take your Bible study to the next level. All right, y'all. Next time, we're going to look at the fact book feature. Cannot wait to get into that fact book. You're going to love this. It's probably one of my favorite types of robust tools found here in Logos. Can't wait for it. We'll see y'all in the fact book in the next section. Peace out.